3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Dual Wellness, the show with a mother and her son talking about wellness and things that have to do with it and other cool stuff.
Wellness and things that have to do with it.
We know a lot about wellness. We know a whole lot.
We have opinions.
So what's the definition of wellness?
It depends. We're not going to go into all that.
I'm kidding. So, but welcome to another episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you for clicking. We appreciate it. I'm Max. This is my mother, Camille. She's 56. I'm 23. Pretty big difference there.
Very large difference.
So, yeah, we're going to be talking about, what were we talking about today?
We're talking about, okay, so if you joined us for our last episode, if this is your first time watching us, hi, welcome, join us, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. If it's not your first time and you watched our last episode, then you know that we had discussed, Max had discussed a little bit about a book that he had read when he was a couple of years ago that had a major impact on the way his outlook on the world and his life. And we started talking about it a little bit more, and Max suggested for a show episode or whatever that we discuss some different books that have impacted our lives. I've always been a huge and avid reader. My parents were both huge readers, and my brothers and sisters, all of us, our family was always readers. And so that was why I was so appalled with Max the other day when he and said he was not.
I'm not a big reader. I don't read many books.
But
it takes very specific books to really get me interested. But in my opinion, those are pretty good ones.
Exactly.
So I think it's worth to talk about.
And that's just it. It really does. Reading for reading's sake is one thing. Reading because you love it and it helps you. It gives, it brings joy to your life. Yeah. Everything. And that does take us. I can't read, like, I'm not a really big science fiction reader. I don't read books just to read books. Yeah. Is what I'm saying.
And the thing is, books weren't my escapism. They weren't my outlet into other worlds and imagination.
No, video games.
I had video games, and I had good video. I mean, it wasn't just like, boop, 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 I'm moving the funny guy, and it looks kind of cool.
I had no video games.
Yeah, I had, like, Halo and stuff like that since I was a child. So it was like, well, I could read a pretty cool book, or I could, literally, like, move around in 3 dimensions in that world.
So anyways.
Yeah, but
all right.
I still like a lot of books.
Yeah, so books are good. We love books.
I still do love books, and I think I have some pretty good recommendations, some ones that really helped me. So
we just wanted to talk about. So I'm going to go first. I'm going to go through a few books that So I have some books here, but one of the books, I was thinking about when I was Max's age and the age that he had said that he read that one book and it had such an impact on him.
Watchman was the book, if anyone wants to know. Yeah.
So. And I remember the very first book that I consciously remember having a life-changing impact on me, life-changing, was, so when I was a senior in high school, I remember exactly when I read it, when I was a senior in high school. My family I come from a very large family. There's 7 of us kids and a gazillion nieces and nephews. I'm 6 out of 7. My family is a little different. It's a lot different. We are all very strong personalities. And as a younger person, I had a very hard time dealing with the fact that my family wasn't the Brady Bunch. And if you don't know what the Brady Bunch is, we can't be friends. I think okay. So,
what's the Brady Bunch?
Well, some young people don't know everything. So I had a hard time dealing with the fact that my family wasn't, the normal family. Well, I read a book called The Hotel New Hampshire by John Irving when I was a senior in high school, and it was such a good book. It was such a good book. And while that family, it's the story of a family. And while that family had some over the top issues, they were, the thing is to them, they were normal. And for whatever reason, I read the book and it really got me thinking, and I started thinking that there is no normal. There is no normal family.
No.
There is no, Brady Bunch is a fictional family,
Yeah, even they got wild stuff going on.
Yeah, true. And so that book, that was the first book that made me, it impacted the way I saw my world.
Yeah.
Everything. So that was a very, very influential book to me.
Did it make you appreciate your family more?
It did.
And others?
It
and understand the intricacies of other families as well?
Yes, it made me stop. It made me appreciate my family, but it made me stop fighting against who my family was.
Yeah.
Who my family was. So the next book that had a giant impact on my life, and that I've probably recommended this book more than any other book in my whole entire life. And okay, so the next book that I probably recommend more than any other book, I've recommended it to multiple friends and multiple people. It's called I don't have the book here, but it's called Codependent No More.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, it's by Melody Beatty, and I won't get into a big, what codependency is and everything else. I won't get into that because if you think you know what being codependent is, but you haven't looked into it, you don't know what being codependent is. You can't just by the word codependent. It's not what you think
it goes so much deeper.
It goes so much
It's harder
deeper.
to step outside of
Yep.
your preconceived notions of it to understand, like, oh, I'm doing this and this is codependent.
And that was what I was in therapy. I love therapy. I was in therapy, and my therapist recommended that book to me. I read it, and it literally was life-changing. It was what made me start realizing, it was my introduction to boundaries.
Right.
And the fact that I had none. And so that was a giant life-changing book for me.
Yeah.
That was really big. So that one I recommend just a ton. And then this book, this is called Almost Everything by Anne Lamott. And it's Almost Everything. It's called Notes on Hope. And this is the book that when 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, when our family went through a really horrible tragedy, a friend of mine got me this book, gifted me this book along with a big self-care bundle, and it was wonderful. And it's just a little book. If you've ever read Anne Lamott, she is a beautiful author. She writes almost in a poetic type of way, but not really. And she's just very interesting, but it is, it's, the premise of this book is that no matter what, there's always hope. And it was, I believe, in the right book, finding you at the right moment. This book found me.
That's really nice. Mom,
yeah.
But you know, hope was at the bottom of Pandora's box.
I don't even
Think
know
about
about
that.
you.
Think
I don't know
about
about
that,
you.
Mom.
All right. So, this book wasn't necessarily life-changing, but it was. When I was looking at my bookshelf and I found this book, this is called The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin. This was the book that introduced me to Gretchen Rubin.
Oh, she's the one who stole my make your bed in the morning idea, right?
No, that was Mel Robbins.
Oh, she stole it from me.
Yeah. No,
right,
Gretchen Rubin
right. Oh,
is
yeah, okay.
the one that has the four
Podcast.
No, well, she does have a podcast, and I listen to it every day, every week. No, Gretchen Rubin is the one that has the 4 tendencies.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah.
You've recommended a lot of self-help
Yeah.
people to me, so sometimes.
Yes, I am a self-help junkie.
Yeah.
But Gretchen Rubin I listen to her podcast. I listen to her sister's podcast. I listen to, I've read all of her books. I've listened to a lot of her books. I really enjoy her. She is self-help without being self-helpy.
Yeah.
She's not, she's fun. I like her.
Yeah.
She's really good. She's really, really good. And then lastly, along the kind of self-help bent, these are just books I really, really enjoy and might not be life-changing, but this, I'm going to tell you. So this is Jen Sincero. She has a whole series called You're a Badass. And quite frankly, I am. And it's how to stop doubting your greatness and start living an awesome life, everything. And so that book was, I don't doubt my greatness. I think I'm pretty cool. So I don't, but it was it was a good book. I really, really, really enjoyed it. But I liked the book that she put out called You're a Badass at Making Money, everything. And the reason why is because I personally have some very deeply rooted ideas on money and making money, and this helped me realize a lot of my limitations that I was putting on myself, and that can be life-changing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So those
money is very life-changing thing.
Money can be life-changing in the good and in the bad.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, we don't have to get into a giant discussion on money and that wasn't the point of that book.
Right.
It's not, it's just people have a lot of preconceptions on money and making money and everything else that you're yawning again.
I yawn sometimes when I sit down. I don't breathe well enough, I think.
I know. I think, or you find your mother boring. So
no, I don't.
Yes. So you have a lot of preconceptions and thoughts on money that most of the time that you were raised with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything. So that book made me realize. I was like, oh,
yeah,
interesting.
It is very interesting.
So,
I think that is something that is very helpful, I think.
So one last book. My favorite, all-time favorite, fiction book. It's probably my favorite book ever. The Stand. Okay. By Stephen King. Yeah. It is probably my favorite. I will probably, I have it. Yeah, it's right there.
Right there.
Yeah, and this book is so thick. It is.
It's 1,130 something.
1,141 pages. I love this book. I tried to reread this book when we were first in lockdown because I was like, oh, I have all this time.
Yeah.
I have all this time at home. Now is not a good time
to read this book.
That is not a. But I absolutely.
Or it's a really good time because who are you? Which side are you on?
Oh, I already know what side I'm on. I already know who I would follow in The Stand. I already know.
I'm a lot like Larry or whatever his name is. I feel like.
Okay. Anyway.
What?
Anyways, my child.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So those were the books.
I was honestly gonna throw Stand on there too, as my little bonus thing. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Because that's like one of my. It's amazing. It's an amazing fiction book. Really good.
The fact that Max does not like to read, and he read a 1,000-page book.
Yeah, I've read Lord of the Rings and stuff too, and I personally think The Stand's better than Lord of the Rings, but I don't know. Hot take.
It's really funny because they've made mini-series out of it. Not necessarily. Some are okay, but I just don't think that Stephen King's writing necessarily translates well into
It's so dense. It's so much like It's very rambly. That book is it's like a 10-page part of a girl eating a piece of pie. But that's what's so good about it is you get to know the characters so well that by the end of it, it's so satisfying because it's like you've been on such a long time with these characters.
That was the only book that was over 1,000 pages that when it ended, when I was done with it, I was bummed it was done.
Yeah, because you miss these characters. It's all about the characters.
Yes.
It's all the characters.
Yep.
And you miss these people so much. You want these people to be a part of your life. It feels like you knew them. They're like your friends.
When Stephen King is good, he's the best.
Yeah.
When he's bad,
it's pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, he sucks. But
it's a very good book. Yeah.
It's such a good book.
Oh, we're back. Had to restart the camera for a second. Hello, everybody.
Okay, so your turn.
So now that you skipped past all that, and then you're on to the good stuff. There's, I'm sorry, I'm kidding.
He's really giving me crap today. Your turn.
Yes, my turn. About books. Books I enjoy. Yep. What are some of the books I like?
Not necessarily enjoy, because I mean, my God, there's not enough time in the day to say all the books that I've enjoyed in my life. The ones that have had.
There's enough time in the next hour.
Maxwell David.
The Tale of Despero is the only book I like. No.
You did love the Tale of Despero.
I did like the Tale of Despero a lot. Yeah, as a kid.
You loved the Tale of Despero.
Yeah, for sure, I did.
Yeah.
All right. No, but some books I really do like. Well, I've already discussed Watchman, which some people might consider, that's not a real book. It's a picture book.
No, it is. No, but graphic novels are still
very much so.
Yeah.
That Watchman is all text. Also, it's all talking. It's all like political intrigue and text and stuff like that. So that one's amazing. I love Watchmen. I always love Watchmen. I love a lot of graphic novels.
I like that you like graphic novels.
Cool.
I always encouraged it.
Yeah, I've always really, really enjoyed graphic novels. But some other books that I really enjoy. It's not really fiction. I don't think there's any real fictitious elements to it, but I guess it's up to your discretion when reading it. It's like watching Kitchen Nightmares or something, how much you believe. I don't know, maybe it's not all real.
What?
But my favorite book is The Razor's Edge by W. Somerset Maugham. I think I'm pronouncing his name correctly.
That's right.
Yeah. And there's a movie of it with Bill Murray and everything like that. I think it was pretty popular in like the 90s and stuff like that. But I love that book. It's an amazing book. I got it probably 2 years ago when I started my new job, and I had some time. I had a lot of downtime at my job where I could read here and there, and so like on breaks and stuff, I would read the book. And I think that's kind of why I was able to like really get into it, because like I said, I definitely have a bit of a short attention span, but what's so great about this book is I really like things in art that allow you to make your own decisions based on what it's presenting you. It's not giving you an absolute...
It's not spoon-feeding it to you.
It's not giving you an absolute and saying, this is the message, this is what you have to think about it, this is it.
Yeah.
So when things can be really like broad and just present you things, and then you can choose like, oh, this is why he decided to put this here and put this here and put this here. I really like that, and to my understanding, it's called The Razor's Edge because there's a very fine line that makes the differences in people's lives. Very tiny things. There's a razor's edge between this person and this person. Like one decision in their life.
Decision and a bad decision.
One moment in their life that defined it all, that put them on this path. And it explores that beautifully. It's just the author having conversations with people he actually knows, real conversations. And the whole book is just like him sitting at dinner parties or whatever, talking to his friends. And there's extremely rich art collectors and people who were born into wealth. And then there's the other character that the movie is based on that really is not the main character of the book. And it's not all about him. Larry, and he who decides to go on this spiritual journey and to find himself and everything. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's very beautiful, and the differences you see between these characters through this whole journey with them is really cool, especially when you think about the fact that it's real. It's just real people, and it's really beautiful. And it really changed my life. It made me think about what I want out of my life, the decisions that brought me to where I am, and how important each decision is after that point. In each point, everything I'm doing is,
impactful,
extremely impactful. So it's really beautiful. I highly recommend it. I think it's a great book. The other one is really like, okay, smart guy, but Plato's dialogues, in particular, like the Symposium and everything like that. I don't know all of them like right off the top of my head. Like it's something sism, the biblicism, and stuff like that.
I have no idea.
But they all have these different names. But I just had a collection of Plato's like biggest dialogues, and I read those a lot. And Socrates talking to recordings that Plato made of Socrates discussing different ideas with people. And it's really interesting. I don't like it because it's like, man, this is a smart book for smart people, and this makes me feel smart. That's not why I enjoy it or anything. That's not really the point, I think, behind it. I think it's a very good, it's just a fascinating look at, it's so old. It's so old.
Isn't it weird to think? It's weird to think like that's what I think about because I am a giant Jane Austen fan.
Right.
Giant. I have read pretty much everything Jane Austen ever wrote. And that's what I think because one of the things that just freaks me out is the thought that this was written 300 years ago.
Yeah, and then you think about Socrates and Plato, it's like thousands.
Yeah.
And it's like, geez, and like, they're just hanging out. They're just having conversations, talking about the same stuff.
And it's still relevant.
Yes, and it's still not only is it relevant, but it's impressive and
impactful.
And it really makes you think about history. That maybe history isn't exactly a linear progression. Maybe there's advancements here, and then you sacrifice some things there, and you sacrifice this to make this better. And it really makes you think about, appreciating where you are now, and also kind of giving people, giving culture and people and their discussions and their level of intelligence and everything, some more respect, and maybe cutting them some more slack. I feel like people are very harsh on like, this needs to progress now, and like, if you're doing this, you are an idiot, and all these people from the past are evil or whatever. And it's like, no, there was like genius, like delicate, like good people who were discussing and trying to figure out these issues just as much as anyone else thousands of years ago. And these no matter the situation you're in, you're having, as a human being, you're having a lot of the same thoughts. Those thoughts are always going to be there. And seeing the way that Plato seeing the way that Socrates dealt with it, just walking around and talking to people because he could and it was fun, is just really amazing. And he's also just a really smart guy. He very smart person.
Obviously. If we're still quoting Socrates thousands of years later.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same thing with like Marcus Aurelius and meditations by Marcus Aurelius and everything. It's very interesting. You get to read this man's personal thoughts from thousands of years ago, right?
I know, it's cool.
It's really cool. And it's just very interesting. And so those are, I really like books like that give you interesting perspectives on people. And that's my favorite thing. That's why I like Watchmen so much, right? It's the same thing. It's all these characters in an interesting situation. I think the best things are when the writer thinks of, what if I put this person and this person together? What would come of that? And they really think about that, and what can you learn from that?
Cool.
I think that's what makes a good story. I think that's very interesting. That's why The Stand is so good.
That is why The Stand is so good.
So yeah, those are my book recommendations. The Razor's Edge, and any dialogues by Plato or meditations by Marcus Aurelius,
and The Watchman.
And Watchman.
And The Stand.
And The Stand. Yeah. So all really good stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, so what are your favorite books? What is there something that you absolutely love that you would suggest? I am always open for suggestions. Put it down below. let us know.
It doesn't have to be life-changing. It could just be a fun book that you
It could just
be a really
something
fun,
that,
good book. Like, yeah, whatever.
What's a book that you read that you were just like, oh my gosh, this was so good.
Yeah.
I want someone else to read this because you enjoyed it.
And it doesn't have to be super serious. That's the thing I love about fiction stuff like that. Most life-changing thing to me was Empire Strikes Back. Like, it's not super serious, right?
I am a serious lover of all things romantic. So, you know, the romance novels and everything else. I love those things.
Yeah, I love nerdy stuff. Yeah. It's all cool. If it impacts you, then it's important.
Yep.
So put it down below.
Yeah,
and like, subscribe. Thank you for watching again. We really appreciate it.
We do.
And we're hopefully going to start putting up some other videos here too.
Yes, we will. So, all right.
See you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.